Right, how are we doing, people? It is currently 7:01 a.m. I'm driving to the unit, which is my work in Southend. So I'm going to be doing a day in the life of a real brand owner. Now, when I say real brand owner, I do see a lot of brands out there with pre-printed, pre-bagged, pre-everything stock in a nice little setup, and then they go on about how busy they are, which is all good, but I'm going to show you what real busy is, as in from getting in, printing out the order sheets, printing the t-shirts, drying the t-shirts, folding the t-shirts, hang tags, bagging, packing, post office. Right, so first things first, I come in and then I'll print out my orders. So I'll go onto my Shopify, see what's coming, print out my orders, and then start getting ready to print. So yeah, I'll print them bits out, and then obviously I'll get the blanks out, then I'll set up the screen printing machine, and I'll show you how I print a t-shirt or how I print a hoodie, whatever I've got to print today. Right, so printed all the orders out. These are orders that come through last night. There's quite a few there. So what I'm going to do, obviously I'm going to set up the carousel, change the screen it's in at the moment. Majority of these are the hooligan, which is that there. So I'll show you how I set that up, get it all lined up, get the t-shirts out, and then start printing. Right, first things first, I'm going to take these screens out because we're not using these. So these come out really easy. So it's just a clamp. They're just held in with a clamp like that. You just unscrew them. So obviously this is the hooligan. Right, okay, so the way this works, so a lot of people say, how do you get the print on the t-shirt exactly the same place every time? So this pattern here, this is locked in place. And then, as messy as it looks, this is now measured and square within the pattern. So that's been stuck down. And then when you bring this down here, you mash it up with your artwork, and literally, you just tighten them clamps. So every single time this comes down, it goes inside that gap there. Excuse the dust, this is a working machine. So when this comes down, that fits in there every single time, like that. So it's perfectly straight. You can print and print and print and never be off. Right, that's all ready to go. All I've got to do now is just put the t-shirts over there, load up the screen with the ink, and I can start printing. I'm not going to do the whole lot today because obviously I want to do filming. If I film the whole lot, we'll be for absolute hours because it's loads. So I'm going to do sort of like 10 or 15, just to show you how I print them. And then obviously I'll start folding, tagging, bagging, etc. So I have got a load of the ink in here, and I'll just nick it from this screen here. So you can see why you need the spatula. Load that up. Well, that's pretty much ready to go. You can see why I don't film a lot, because I need to do work, but I do need to show you how things are done when I'm here. Right, okay, so there's some blanks here. I'll just grab these for now. Obviously these have been labelled. So I'll lay those out. There's quite a few there. And I can show you them being printed. What I tend to do is I'll print a load of t-shirts, and then that over there, that's a tunnel dryer. Excuse my dirty hands. That's a tunnel dryer over there. So you put the t-shirts in there once everything's completely done. So that will be the final cure. So although this does dry the t-shirt, it only dries it so it's touch dry. So that doesn't cure the t-shirt at all. So once you print the t-shirt, you put it underneath. But it's only touch dry. This is a tunnel dryer. T-shirt goes in there, and it gets to sort of about 400 degrees and comes out the other end completely dry and all cured. It's probably the most important part, because if you don't cure it properly, it doesn't dry properly, then obviously when you put the t-shirt through the wash, it all starts starts like coming off and fading and peeling, etc. So that's the most important thing. Right, I'm gonna stop chatting and I'll start printing. Right, so this is spray adhesive. This keeps the t-shirt onto the platter and it stops it moving. It's basically glue in a can. Just spray that over there. I say it's as easy as that. You have got to get it on straight. So basically that stops it coming off. Right, so what I'm going to do then, I'm basically going to pull the ink through the screen and then I'll just squeeze it through and it goes straight onto the t-shirt. It says 14 years of experience. So you squeeze it through and then you push the ink through the screen and there you go. Okay, so normally what I'd do, I'd have a pile of t-shirts here and I'd just do one after another and then I'd have 4 of these all based around there, so I can do one t-shirt, one t-shirt, one t-shirt. But just because I'm filming, I want to show you what goes into printing a t-shirt. I don't want to bore you with like all the footage of sort of printing 50, 60 t-shirts, because like I said, it'll take hours to do. So just so you can see what goes into printing a t-shirt. And obviously once I've done this, I've got to do the fronts as well, because on the front, it's got like a small logo, like it's basically like this, but in burgundy. Right, so I'll start running the rest of these. Again, I ain't gonna film myself printing all of them, because that'll take all day, and you guys will be proper bored. So every step that I'm showing you, there is a long process. There's more to it. So obviously this will take 2 minutes, but if I've got 50 t-shirts, that could take 3 hours, 2 or 3 hours. So I'm just cutting it down, just so you can see the steps that's involved. Again, what we do as well, which I'm not saying not all screen printers do, but say for instance you get your t-shirts printed overseas in China or Pakistan or India or whatever, the chances are they are not going to hit it with 2 lots of ink. So that's 1 lot of ink. So do you know what? That is kind of sufficient. You could get away with that, but over time it could start to wear thin and start showing through. So every colour that I do, I hit it twice. Right, so we're going to turn on the tunnel dryer. So basically, it's kind of like a pizza oven. This is what cures the t-shirts. T-shirt goes in there, comes out the other end. So yeah, like I said, you need to cure it in there, because if you don't cure it properly, then the t-shirt does fade or the ink will come off. So that's a massively important thing. I'll let that warm up, and while that warms up, I've got to do my bloods. So I've got to do my my blood sugars, because I'm diabetic. I'll tell you a story about that in a minute. Right, so yeah, basically I have to do my blood glucose through the day, probably 4, 5, 6 times a day. So all it is, obviously I won't do this on camera because there's blood involved. It's just a pen, so you prick your finger with that, and then you basically put this strip in here, and all it does, once you put your blood on the end of that, it gives you a reading. So a normal person's is sort of like between 4.5 and 5. That's like a decent reading. When I got taken to hospital, Mum was 32. Long story short, I went into hospital. I had lung hemorrhage, so I had a bleed on the lung, internal bleeding. It was really serious. Anyway, they basically gave me loads of medication, some steroids, which is not the kind of steroid you're thinking of. It's basically an anti-inflammatory kind of steroid, prednisolone. Gave me too much of it, and it just caused me diabetes. So I've now got diabetes, but So I have to test this, and depending on what it is, if it's too low, then I have to eat something, and if it's too high, then I have to not eat something, and I have to drink loads of water and run around trying to burn off any glucose. Yeah, do you know what? That's kind of low. So what I'll do, I have a rich tea. The best thing about rich tea biscuits, right, is that I got hardly any sugar or hardly any carbs in it. So I'll eat a rich tea, which is really boring. Rich tea is probably the worst biscuit you can have. If you've got rich tea biscuits in your biscuit barrel or whatever, that's a crime. That shouldn't be allowed. Because I have something like a custard cream and my levels go through the roof. But anyway, that should be dry. That should be heated up now. So, put the first t-shirt through. What I'll do, I'll test the temperature. So the temperature gun, I'll point it towards the ink, and if the ink reads sort of 325, 350 Fahrenheit, then you know it's cured. If it's less than that, you've got to let it heat up for a little bit longer. But that's actually bang on. So that's the rear cured. Obviously I've got loads of these. Right, let's put all these through. So obviously that's cooled down now, so I can put the front through to dry, and then they're done. Every single t-shirt is unique. There's no one t-shirt that's completely the same. When you put the t-shirt on, it might be slightly over there, slightly over there. So it's always unique. Effectively, you're getting a one-off. Right, one thing I haven't shown you yet. So we have got a wall, and that wall there has got hundreds and hundreds of signatures. So when you come down to visit, you might pick up your order. You might come for a summer barbecue. So have some mad parties here. You might come to the shop. Anyone that visits gets to put their name on there. So on here, there's absolutely hundreds and hundreds of messages. I mean, there is so many on here. And it goes beyond the boxes as well down there. So, right, so I'm going to start labelling. So I'm going to start folding the t-shirts, and then putting the hang tags on, getting them ready for the post office. Yeah, I've still got hours left here. So I am packing an order. I'm packing loads of orders. I'll go through the process. Obviously start off with your t-shirt. Shameless plug on the Marlborough tees. If you're no good at folding t-shirts, like I am, I ain't got a clue how to fold t-shirts. You need one of these. It's called a t-shirt folder. Literally, it's how easy it is. You lay it flat like that, fold that over, and as if by magic, you have the perfect folded t-shirts. Obviously, where I do hundreds of these, it's ideal. There's your hang tag there. It is all about attention to detail. I've always made sure everything is 100%. Right, load these up. Go to the post office. I'm not going to do a huge post office run today. I'm just doing a couple of sacks. There is stuff still to go out, but I've got another day or so. So I need to get back and do some designing. I've got a load of emails to do. I need to order a load of stock as well. Inks, blanks, t-shirts, etc. So for now, these laundry bags, right? These laundry bags are a godsend. You can get so many parcels in there. They come out from boxes. Right, off to the post office. So what I tend to do, if I can, I'll do as many orders as I can, so Monday to Wednesday. And then Thursday, I'll hit the post office in one go. And I'll just get all the parcels together. So I could sort of do post office run every day, but if I have sort of 4 or 5 orders coming in one day, then I go post office just for that. It's just, by the time I get there and queue up and all that, it's easier to go, right, do you know what? Thursday I do 4 or 5 bags, and Friday I do another 4 or 5 bags. It's a lot easier that way to get it done. It saves me time, then I can be at the unit designing or whatever else I've got to do. So it is the worst job, and I'm not going to lie, I absolutely hate doing the post office run. It is absolute nightmare. I know I could get it picked up, but I had an account before. It's not as straightforward as that. You still got to weigh everything. You still got to account for it. Mark it as shit, write it down, and they come pick it up. But it's not as easy as they make out. So I'll just go post office with loads of sacks and just annoy everyone in there. Oh, mate, pouring. Right, post office is done. Now, obviously, back to work and then carry on. It's always something to do, always something to do. So back into work, back in the office. I've got a load of designing to do, so obviously I can't really sit here for hours videoing me designing because that's really boring. So basically what I do, I use Illustrator and I use Photoshop. Photoshop for the more fancy stuff, so the images that are put onto the website of the hoodies and t-shirts, and in Illustrator, it's all Adobe. Illustrator is for the more sort of technical side of things. So I'll show you on screen what it is I actually use. So obviously this is Adobe Illustrator, so you can see everything is more technical. It's outlines, whereas Photoshop is more the glamorous side of it. It's the special effects and the final t-shirts and stuff like that. So once I've done that, I've got a few more emails to send and I've got to order some more stock. But again, that's pretty much me for the day. I've done about, although it's a 20-minute video, I've done about 10 or 11 hours so far. Still bits and pieces to do before I can shut up and go home. Yeah, so I hope that it gives you some kind of insight to what goes into printing a t-shirt or printing a hoodie and getting a complete order done for you. There is a lot of work that goes into your orders, every single one. So obviously now we're on YouTube, I can sort of break things down and show you a day in the life, or if we're bringing out a new design, I can sort of show you what work goes into it, what's involved. This is literally just a tiny piece of what I actually do. There's so much more that I do, but to fit it all in, the video would be so long. So 20 minutes is long enough. But again, hope it gives you an insight into what's what. And I appreciate every single one that follows, likes and subscribes. If you can do that, I'll be really grateful. And here's to the next video.